In this week's video, we are going to continue to talk about tracks. I thought it would be really fun to investigate some of the tracks that I found. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some images of the tracks that I've spotted in last week's video and previous outings, and I'm going to teach you the things to look for to tell species apart. No matter where you are in the world, this video is going to help you because I'm going to teach you the things to look for. To be honest, I'm still learning tracks. I'm new here to Illinois, and even though I have a PhD, my research was in Africa. When I worked in North Carolina, we used camera traps to identify individuals. So I never had to rely on learning animal tracks. So this is something fun that we are going to learn together, and I'm going to teach you what to look for. So let's get started. Okay, let's start with this video that I took. We'll pause it. Looks really good right here. The things that stand out to me are, first, that there's a foot pad here, and then let's count the toes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And looks like it's about like 3 centimeters tall. So let's start looking to see what it can be. There's a resource for tracks with the Massachusetts.gov website. It's free. So let's see what it matches up with here. It looks like there could be a little nail here potentially. Let's see, what is showing 5 toes? These are all 4. Okay, so the ones with 5 toes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A fisher. A mink has 5 toes. So the animals that I would expect to be in the area based on my camera traps are coyotes, red fox, gray fox. I do think we would have bobcats, obviously dogs, house cats. These would be the most prominent animals. Raccoons, striped skunk, opossum, wood gray squirrel, all of these animals we have here. White-footed mouse. Let's look to see how tall this is. Let's look at the inches. It's a little bit, looks a little bit bigger than 1 inch. So let's look at the foot pad shape. It seems to be kind of flat. The toes seem close together. The animal that this resembles the most to me here is a striped skunk. What I'm going to do is look at some other trusted resources. This is Illinois.gov where I live. It's like a striped skunk. So this seems to fit pretty well. Let's look at the actual pictures. So it looks more like this, but we're not getting the other parts of the hind foot. Another thing I like to do is look on iNaturalist. So let's see if we can find striped skunk footprints. Few observations. What we're going to do is filter this. We're going to look for research grade. Track. Okay, we're looking only at research grade, and we're looking at tracks. So let's take a look at some more of these. So let's take a look at some of these photos. Remember, the front track is going to look different than the back track. So I think what we have here is the front track. So some of these photos might show the back track, and we're looking for this pattern. So I'm not seeing that here. This looks more like the hind track. So let's look at this one. This to me right here looks pretty similar to what we were looking at. It just looks like the nails did not come through on the print, which is possible. The animal didn't press down enough. If we look at this, look at what we got here. To me, that looks pretty similar. Let's look at some more. That one's really hard to make out. Okay, this is also looking pretty similar to what we're seeing here. This looks pretty similar to what we're seeing. Again, you might not see all of the parts of the track. It looks like we got a little nail here, but not all of it. I also have a field guide, so let's consult it and see what it says. This book has a lot more species than the online guide. I'm here on the skunk page and look at this. This is similar to what I'm seeing, but you can't see the nails that much in our screen picture. That's the paw that we're seeing. That's what it looks like. My guess for this one is that we are looking at a striped skunk, and I'm going to upload this to iNaturalist to confirm. Okay, let's do another one. This one you should be able to identify, and this is really easy because it's the only ungulate here. So it's going to have a hoof pattern. So you can see the 2 hooves there. This one is a white-tailed deer. Now, it could be a different deer species depending on where you live, but I know here in Illinois that all we have is a white-tailed deer, so that's what it is. And some tracks of deer, you might see the dew claw as well. So this is a great website I found. Here's a beautiful image, and then you can actually see that in the deer itself. So sometimes you can see that in the tracks. Even though it's more distorted, you can tell it is a deer here because it has the 2 hooves. Okay, what about this one? Let's do this one. Now, we do have it going up a tree. So that does give us a hint, kind of like a little hand here.
In this case, we see the paw print to be going like up the tree. Maybe that can give us some clue. What do we think this is? We have a much smaller animal. You can see my booth. So what do you think this is?
So this is a really clear track. Let's work on this one. Let's go back to the Massachusetts site and let's see what we got. So we have 1, 2, looks like 3, 4, 5 toes that we can make out, and it's very elongated. So none of these 4 ones. So let's look at the ones that are elongated. So the raccoon's pretty elongated. It's up a tree, so I know it's not going to be a muskrat, and it doesn't have these splayed toes like the muskrat does. It's also pretty small. In the one video, you can see my boot. So it's pretty small. To me, what this is most looking like is a squirrel. It seems to be too small to be a raccoon and not narrow enough at the bottom. And we have a lot of fox squirrels around here in Illinois, which is not on the list for Massachusetts wildlife. So I'm gonna take a look on iNaturalist. Let's do a filter. Let's research grade. Let's do tracks. Yes, this to me looks like we have some fox squirrel in here. And this to me is looking pretty similar to this one. And when we look at other images here, this looks pretty similar too. So I'm gonna upload this to iNaturalist as fox squirrel and let you know what we get. Let's take a look at this one. It looks like we have some clear images here. Let's find a good one. Actually, this is a good one. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this and then I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna make this a little bit easier to see. So let's rotate it. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of hard to see if there is a nail. To me, it looks like there is, but it is kind of difficult to see. Let's look at our guide. Now, I know I don't have a ruler here, but I do remember this one was a little bit bigger, so it's not going to be really small. I think that it was probably too big for the foxes. And if we look at the pattern of the foxes, the toes are a little bit more splayed. The foot pad is not as big. To me, this seems more substantial here. It does to me look like there is nail prints, so I'm gonna rule out cats for this. You can see here the cats, you cannot see the nail prints, and it's gonna be too big for these other animals as well. So we have here between dogs and coyotes. With coyotes, the overall print is gonna be more tight, and I learned a trick where you can draw an X through the print. If you do that here, you can see like it makes a perfect X. Whereas with dogs, it'll get messed up, and I'll link to a video. So this is the video I made a while back, and with the coyote, you can see that it is more tight. So to me, this looks more coyote. You can see here the nails show up pretty light, and that's what it looks like it's showing up here too as well. Let's see. Yeah, to me this looks more like a coyote than it does a dog. So that's going to be my guess. And then also behaviorally, there were no other tracks, whereas if it was a dog, there'd likely be a human walking by. We don't have any stray dogs in this area, so I'm going to say that this is a coyote track. This to me looks like another coyote. It's really faint, but you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4 toes, the heel pad, the X shape. But it's really faint. It's hard to make out the pattern. Another thing about coyotes is they tend to walk in really straight lines. And this looks pretty straight, whereas dogs, their walk tends to be a lot more messy. This is an animal I know for sure what it is. This is one of the easier tracks. And you can tell this one by its shape pretty easily. It'll have this really distinct pattern of these like almost kind of like 3 tracks rather than 4. So let's look at our sheet and see what it is. It's going to be a cottontail rabbit. So let's look it up here. You can see it a lot better here. It's this distinct pattern. See, when you look at the distance, it almost looks like it's 3.
To learn how to find tracks on your own, make sure to watch last week's video. I teach you some excellent places where you can look for tracks anywhere in the world. This video is part of my Wildlife Biology for Kids Club program. You will get the accompanying downloadable activities. Take them into your backyard, into your neighborhood, and use them to explore nature together. Get access to a community of like-minded individuals to share your findings and get inspired by what others discover. Interact with me, and there will be exclusive content. Check out the description below for the enrollment link. You can enroll at any time. These activities are meant to be fun, easy, and intentional to get you and your child outside, discovering nature, fostering their curiosity, and connecting together. Make sure you subscribe so that you get the notification when the next video is out.